epekto. Sa kabila ng mga pag-iingat at pagbabantay, ay namin po naming nagkakamali rin po kami. Gayunpaman, agad din po kaming umaaksyon para itama ang mali. And we have mechanisms for handling mistakes committed in the performance of our duty. At the company level, we have an independent network ombudsman that receives, investigates, and makes recommendations on complaints against news personnel. These recommendations are acted upon by the head of news in a timely manner. At the news division level, we have a standards and practices unit that likewise ensures our journalists adhere to our own code of ethics and observe the highest professional and ethical standards. Just like those in government, journalists and the news media operate as trustees of the public. As such, our first loyalty is to citizens, and our primary obligation is to the truth. We know that as we hold power to account, we ourselves are accountable to the public we serve. We uphold this accountability and responsibility as vigorously as we uphold press freedom, freedom of expression and free speech, all fundamental rights deeply anchored in our Constitution and well settled in jurisprudence. Your Honors, sa kabila ng aming limitasyon dulot ng shutdown, sinisikap pa rin naming ipagpatuloy ang pagbabalita, lalo na po ngayong panahon ng pandemya. Patuloy kaming kumukuha ng lakas ng loob at inspirasyon kina Ronnie at Marge na natulungan ng aming mga manonood sa sipag at tapang ng manggagawang tulad ni Leonardo at Joey at sa kabayanihan ng mga tulad ni Corporal Estorion. In these most trying of times, we continue to deliver the news each day, knowing that doing so is an opportunity and a privilege not just to be a witness to history, but to be a force for good. Thank you, Your Honors.
Maraming salamat po. Ngayon naman po ay tawagin natin si Ms. Kata Inocencio, isang dating anchor, host ng ABS.
Sorry, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, may I just make a reaction to the position?
Kong Defensor.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I have here the position paper of ABS-CBN, and I felt that the position somehow alludes to the recent social media campaign that has been coming out. Alam niyo, Mr. Chairman, sometime nung May, when this was shut down, to operate in consideration of its employees without the news division, masyado pong mabigat ang ganitong akusasyon. Ibig sabihin po ba, gumawa kayo ng position paper without watching what came out, without checking, hindi nyo po na-check kung ano po yung mismong sinabi doon sa programa at ang konteksto ng pinagsabihan na to? Kasi kung ganun po talaga, mauwi po tayo sa ganung sitwasyon na ako sinasabi ko, kasinungalingan po itong nakalagay dito sa position paper ninyo at hindi po tama ang naging batayan nito. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Maraming salamat, Congressman Mike Defensor. At yes, Congressman Barsaga.
Paglilinaw lamang, Mr. Chairman, kanina mayroong binasang position paper ang kinatawa ng ABS-CBN. Meron ba tayong printed copy or hard copy ng position paper na binasa para naman kung sakasakaling magtatanong ako, base raw sa position paper, I will not be mistaken, I will not misquote the position paper of ABS-CBN.
Sa panahon pong ito, wala pa po tayong kopya ng presentation ni Ma'am Regina Reyes kanina, pero bibigyan ko po ng direksyon ang Committee Secretariat. The Committee Secretariat is hereby directed to secure copies of the presentation of ABS-CBN and distribute it to our members today.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Congressman Sarate.
Just say a comment on. binasa ko naman yung position paper no, nakalagay dito. Although I note na hindi nga pinangalanan naman ang ating kasamahan, no? Si Congressman Defensor. And itong ganitong komentaryo against ABS-CBN, I'm not defending ABS-CBN. Naririnig ko rin ito sa napakaraming pagkakataon. No? At nababasa rin sa social media itong ganitong punto na not coming from Congressman Santiago, Defensor, pero sa maraming pagkakataon narinig ko ito, especially doon sa mga programa na kami rin naman ang binabanatan, no? Dahil we have our own shares of talagang pumupuna sa atin. Kaming mga sponsors, binabanatan din, no? Talagang matindi ang banat, kung ano-ano na lang. At minomonitor ko rin. Ganun ang
Sonza, nandiyan ka na po ba?
Dito po. Am I being heard, Mr. Chairman?
Opo, naririnig ka po namin.
First of all, nagpapasalamat ako na nabigyan ng pagkakataon. Pagamat noong una tayong dapat nagkadao pang palad ay hindi po nagkaroon ng maayos na ugnayan. Pero kagat pa man, ako'y narito para bigyan ng kalinawan ang marami sa ating mga mamabatas hinggil sa paano ba natakbo ang isang pagbabalita sa larangan ng broadcast. Ang prangkisa po kasi ay negosyo. Pero kakibat po ng negosyo niyan, meron din pong responsibilidad ang network na isagawa o katuparan ang pagninegosyo ayon na rin sa mga lisensyuhin ng ating batas. Ngayon, bias news ang inyong topic. Sa nakalipas na 40 taon na ako'y naging mamamahayag sa radyo, telebisyon at sa dyaryo, ay may mga panintunan kung paano sinasagawa ang pagbabalita. Unang-una, meron pong tinatawag na gathering. Pangalawa, meron pong news writing. Pangatlo, meron pong producing, pagdating po sa telebisyon, at airing, pagdating naman po sa radyo at telebisyon. Paano ba nagkakaroon ng pagbabalita? So, mangangalat ng balita, mag-take out ka, tututukan mo yung mga pangyayari. At nung kapanahonan po namin, bawal na bawal po yung press release. Pag ikaw nagbasa sa press release, hindi ka. Kinakailangan ang lahat ng ibabalita mo, enterprise story. In other words, pinagpaguran mo. Ngayon, sa pagbabalita sa radyo, magkaiba po sa telebisyon. Sa radyo, pag tinawag ka ng anchor, ibubungalik mo kung ano po yung tatawid mo. Ikaw ang producer, ikaw ang news gatherer, ikaw ang writer, ikaw rin ang reporter. Sa telebisyon, magkaiba. Dahil may oras po, halimbawa, kung over ka ng umaga, sa gabi pa ang intended broadcast, mayroong mga oras para wariin kung yung ibabalita mo ay ayon sa panuntunan at standards ng broadcast. Dalawa po kasi ang standards ng broadcast. Una-una, yung kapag yan ay standard
approval
ng mismo
unbiased reporting, among others. Finally, we initially thought that providing certain parameters to address the alleged violations of ABS-CBN in the franchise to be granted will be welcomed by the applicant. The proposed 7 parameters are: first, strict compliance with the Constitution, laws, rules, and regulations, including labor laws and standards. Promotion of employment and security of tenure, ensuring impartial and balanced reporting, promotion of positive Filipino values, provision of public service time, strengthened self-regulation of contents, and reasonable and equitable rates of election ads. Most of these proposed parameters were already present in ABS-CBN's expired franchise and in the current franchise of other networks, while the others are deemed written therein. Wala po akong nilalatag na bagong regulasyon sa prangkisa ng ABS-CBN. Nililinaw at iniisa-isa ko lang ang mga ito na pamantayan na kailangan nilang sundin sapagkat sa dami ng aligasyon ng paglabag, lumalabas na nakakaligtaan o napapabayaan ng mga nagpapalakad ng ABS-CBN ang mga obligasyon nila sa bayan at sa ating mga mamamayan. And yet, I was reported to be imposing strict regulations to ABS-CBN with our proposed parameters. ABS-CBN's Christian B. Esguerra reported, quote-unquote, that the proposed parameters, quote, were seen as the government's way to control the shattered news network repeatedly criticized by President Rodrigo Duterte, unquote. Journalism professor Christian Esguerra passed it on as a news article, and yet the first sentence is already laced with his biased personal opinion. Okay lang po sana kung sinulat ni Ginoong Esguerra isang opinion o editorial at hindi news article. Mr. Esguerra's inability to be impartial is perhaps the primary reason for his fierce objection to my proposed measure. He had difficulty separating facts from opinion, for indeed, news should be about facts. And if one has to report an opinion, then there must be proper attribution. But it's a cardinal sin for a journalist to pass on his opinions as facts. Now, as the hearings draw to a close after spending many days, several weeks, and countless hours, listening to the testimonies and answers of resource persons, both for or against the grant of a new franchise to ABS-CBN, in which I have actively participated, my party list and our constituents who expressed their sentiments in our social media posts are convinced that the pieces of evidence presented, discussed, and distilled in the hearings favor the oppositors. Sa pagtatasa namin, ang mga inailatag na ebidensya ay mas pumapabor sa mga hindi pumapayag na mabigyan muli ng bagong prangkisa ang ABS-CBN. My party list group deems that ABS-CBN failed to successfully rebut the long list of alleged violations, and thus, this representation cannot anymore support the grant of a new franchise to ABS-CBN. Dahil dito, hindi na kayang suportahan ng Kabayan Party List ang pagbibigay ng bagong prangkisa sa ABS-CBN. I am respectfully manifesting to this honorable committee my withdrawal of my authorship of House Bill number 6901. I have already submitted this afternoon to the Bills and Index of the House of Representatives my letter formally withdrawing my authorship thereof, a copy of which I will send to the honorable joint committees. Before I end, Mr. Chairman, my heart grieves for the ABS-CBN employees who face possible displacement, particularly at this time of the pandemic. As an act of redemption for its employees, I hope that ABS-CBN will be generous enough to attend to its employees' needs in these difficult times, as it may be its last act of magnanimity to the people it has considered its family. In any case, I am also certain that this will just be temporary setback to majority of its employees, as other networks and stations will readily accept a workforce that comes with proven talents and expertise. Nonetheless, I shall continue to push for the inclusion of the 7 parameters I outlined in House Bill 6901 and 6902, particularly a pro-labor provision to be the underlying principles of all broadcast media in the Philippines. Mananatili ang aming marubdob na pagnanais na magkaroon ng malinaw na proteksyon sa karapatan ng ating mga manggagawa sa lahat ng networks. Maraming salamat po, Mr. Chairman.
Maraming salamat, CONG.SOL. Noted po sa inyong manifestation. COMSEC, pakitake note po sa manifestation ni CONG.SOL. Ang susunod po na magsasalita ay si Congresswoman Sara Ilago. Kong Sara.